And that way they have a starting point. Man, even to do this cheap could be 60. And then halftime, hey, as I mentioned, we're not the low cost leader. We're gonna be in that 80 to 90 range. Wow, right? And then during corner cut, you're showing them, you see why this is 90 and why this is 60? Absolutely. Cool. And then at price prezzo, guess what? It's 80. You see how much, it was your appointment, right, Daisy? Where we hit them, hard price condition then. We didn't do a lot of warm up, right? But we hit them nicely at halftime. And we came back in and they were shut off, right? And we worked them back, did a good corner cut and made the sale and sold 30 plus thousand.
Good job.
If we would have hit them with that number at the end, they would have been stunned like they were midway. At the end, they wouldn't have been able to make a decision. We then gave ourselves 50 more minutes for that stinger to kind of wear off and for them to come back and then for them to see, okay, I see why you cost more. I see why my numbers were off, right? That's what you're doing here, right? A little bit of stinger. Later on, they're gonna see why, help them, and then it's a progress of price conditioning. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Here's a couple things to know. When you ask them, have you had anybody out before? No, I haven't. Hey, no worries. Most homeowners haven't. We're gonna get into pricing real early so I can kind of let you know what a ballpark like this is gonna run. Before we do that though, what do you know about Anderson? You don't take the bait, right? When they give you something and you wanna just swallow it up right away and, oh, well, hey, let me explain to you right now, this is gonna cost more than you think it is. No, a true professional will take that info and put it in your back pocket. I'm then gonna hit a company story, I'm gonna start my agenda, and then when I say in my agenda, then we'll go over pricing. Oh yeah, and you mentioned you guys haven't really shopped around or seen pricing. It's a super cool report out there. Let me show it to you. It's gonna give you kind of a ballpark where pricing could come in at, and then you show it to them, right? The reason I'm putting it there is if I forgot to ask the question of, hey, in the 5 years you've been doing this, have you guys had anybody out? Have you had us out? Have you recently priced windows through us? Nope, we have no idea. Cool, no worries. We're gonna get into that. But if I forgot to ask that question at agenda, when I said, then I want to get into pricing. By the way, Tom, I know you guys said it's been going on for a handful of years. Have you guys had other companies out? Have you had us out? Have you priced windows through Anderson recently in the last 5 years? No, we have not. Okay, cool. That's my save, right? If I forgot to bring it up in survey where that's where I want you to bring it up, that should be your trigger of, oh, hey, by the way, have you guys any idea what something like this could run? Have you guys done any research? No worries, most homeowners don't. Let me show you some cool research out there and get that number out early, okay? So that's why, A, I don't want you to punish them for giving you that information. No, I haven't. Oh, guess what? Boom, 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 boom. They're like, yeah, that was more than I cared for, and you just punished me by, I answered your question, and you just kind of hit me between the eyes with your answer. Now, hey, cool, great, good to know. We'll get back to that here in a little bit. Back pocket, then company story, agenda set, insert it into the agenda set, and this needs to go smooth, right? Hey, cool report out there. It's the cost versus value report. It's gonna show you what a project like this could run. Have you heard of it? No. Okay, it's like the Kelly Blue Book for home remodel. Let me show you. It's gonna show you vinyl. That's the new builder grade today. The lowest cost window that you can do is 20,000. What it's going to show you is it's 10 windows, so on average it's about $2,000 for a cheap window today. You got 40 windows, so a cheap window could be 80. I'll let you know right now, a project like this will be in the 6 figures, but maybe you guys already knew that, right? However, don't want to get ahead of myself, right? Let's make sure you have a window problem. We'll get into those numbers later. You see how quick that is? If you go down this path and you're explaining and over-explaining because you haven't practiced this, so you're just throwing everything at them, triggers are going off in their mind right away, and they're thinking, dang, you're really trying hard to justify this or to do this, right? Why doesn't this just come natural of like, hey, by the way, this is what it is. We'll jump in, we'll talk about more of that later. But start wrapping your head around numbers like that. It needs to be quick. Does that make sense? You over-explain something, man. They're like, oh, you're trying to sell me now. It's way, I don't know if I believe you. Why are you trying so hard to talk so much about this topic? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Let's raise an objection then.
Yes.
Vinyl windows, this project is gonna cost you about $60,000 on the low end, right?
Yes.
That's the report.
Yep.
No, and if you guys at 60,000, and you say you're not because your project is your product is a little bit more quality. Sorry, man, we're not the right fit for you. I mean, you better off save your time, save our time too, the door is over there, thank you.
Look, I completely understand, and I'll be the first one to tell you, home improvement projects cost a lot. They cost more today than most homeowners anticipate. Windows will be no exception to that. I'll be the first one to tell you, you can do it for less, you can do it less for even this number I'm showing you today. However, that won't be with Anderson. And we're the oldest and largest window and door company in the country for a really good reason. So I'd love the opportunity to show you why we cost more than others. That way at the end of today, you'll know more than just the fact that Anderson costs a lot. However, if we're not the right fit for you at the end of the day, that's okay. We're not the right fit for everybody. I'll be sure to point you in the right direction. However, I am here now though, it's a free service, we can go around. You may not even have a major window problem, right? We'll take a peek, we'll see what the real concerns are. But again, dude, there's not gonna be any pressure to buy today. And again, if we're not the right fit, I'll point you in the right direction. So, is that fair though? Can we go around and show you why though we cost more than others?
Yeah, well, the wife's gonna be, honey, let's just see it. The husband's gonna do, okay.
Yep, and now I gotta get the husband on my side, right? Hey look, I'll be the first one to tell you, you can do this for less, probably less than even this report shows. Unfortunately, that won't be with Anderson.
Right.
Guess what? If I'm getting that pushback now, do you think if I get it at the end when it's a complete surprise, is that better or worse?
No, that's worse.
Way worse.
Right.
So now I have to be comfortable to overcome that. I love that you brought that up to me,
No,
right?
I knew the answer, but I just wanted to bring it up too.
Mhm.
But what I like you did, a lot of people at that point is gonna say also, we do have a lot of different ways to tackle a project like that,
Mhm.
which you did, and it's great, because you're gonna tackle it later on.
Yeah.
To show them how it's gonna be affordable, what you did, and a lot of us do, you took a step back, right? And say, hey, we're not gonna be the right fit, it's all good, I'm already here, let's go ahead, let's inspect your windows, maybe you're not gonna need all of them, maybe you're not gonna need our windows either, but if you wanna get it with the quality that we have, I mean, for the price that you want, it's probably not gonna be with Anderson, but, okay.
Disagree with them. Agree with them. Look, I get it, Tom, right? And I'll be the first one to tell you, you could do this for less than going with us.
Right, it's not a secret.
And maybe even less than this report shows. I'll be the first one to tell you that. Unfortunately though, it's not gonna be with us. And we're the oldest and largest window and door company in the country for a reason. And I'd love to show that to you. That way at the end of today, you'll know why we cost more than others, and you'll know more than just the fact that Anderson costs a lot. But again, if we're not the right fit for you, that's okay. We're not the right fit for everybody. I'll point you in the right direction, but I'd love the opportunity to show you why we are the oldest and largest. And at the end, if it works, great. If not, I promise you there won't be any pressure to move forward today. But if it's cool with you, let's get started, and I'd love to show you guys why. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Cool. And if you still get pushback, hey look, I get it, right? And it doesn't matter who you go with, this is gonna be a lot of money. I think we agree based off some of the concerns though and how long it's been going on. Is this something the two of you are serious about wanting to do? Okay, then hey, we're here now, let me show you. And again, if we're not the right fit, no worries, I'll point you in the right direction. But if you guys are cool with it, let's get started. You just gotta get going, let's get started. I hear what you say. You can do this for less, I'm not telling you you can't. You can do it for less than this, I'm not telling you you can't. However, that won't be with us. So you have to be ready to address that. Cool? Zenji, you do anything different right there?
No, I love the fact that you bring up the fact on one, acknowledging the main concern, bringing up the fact that you can do it for less. One of the best things that I learned from Nolan as well as Mirzakani is the biggest part is, look, at the end of the day, we'll show you what really makes us different. And Tamir, for any reason that you don't even like our window, we don't even have to get into pricing. As a matter of fact, I'll let you know and point you to maybe some other options and directions that you can go. Fair enough? So I give that out, that if you don't like our window, we won't even go into the numbers that you're not gonna like, because it's irrelevant. All we need to do is have that opportunity to get to the product. Now you guys have been doing this long enough. How many people realistically go out there and say, man, you know what, Robbie, your window sucks. Not a single one. So we know at the end of the day, when we ask, do you like what you see? Are you okay now that we start sharing some of the numbers of what it makes sense now to move forward with us? Now we're also asking for that permission that Nolan is indicating. We'll be very agreeable, we acknowledge everything that's out there, and the biggest part is we take all that fear away by, guess what, if you don't even like our window, we don't even have to go into pricing. Now I'll even point you in the right direction. Is that fair enough? And now we can move on. Because the only thing that people are gonna say when we talk about pricing is what? I don't wanna spend money. It doesn't matter what it is. You're gonna show them a $20,000 cost versus value. How many of us are just anxious to spend 20 grand on windows? Not a single person. So the only thing they can do is push back. And so to Nolan's point is the more ammunition that you have to keep the conversation going forward is all you want. So.
Love it, right? And the confidence, right? Like, don't take this the wrong way, but when Tamir's like, let's talk about an objection, I'm like, dude, bring it on. Like, I'm ready for this.
Because it's gonna come.
Right? I'm good, I'm ready, whatever. You can't throw anything at me that I don't feel like I'm ready for. That's that professional mentality of like, I am ready. I'm happy, and I want that. I want to have that conversation early, right? So don't be afraid of that. And guess what? If you said it was 20,000, guess what they're gonna say? Oof, that's a lot. It's just that's that negotiating mindset that they have immediately. It doesn't matter what you say, it's gonna be a lot, right? So just be comfortable saying, look, I get it, man. Home improvement projects cost a lot. Windows are no exception. I'll be the first one to tell you can do this for less. Fortunately, that's not with us. We're the oldest owners for a reason. Love the opportunity to show that to you today. Fair enough. We're not the right fit, no worries. We'll point you in that direction. Like, gotta be ready to just hit that, right? So, cool.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
Like, how many times do you let somebody, like, if they tell you, like, if that's what it's gonna be, then you can go, like how Tamir said it, and then, like, you kinda counterbalance that?
Yeah.
How many times do you let them say, like, pretty much get out before you go?
I can count on one hand the number of times I wasn't able to continue the appointment. It's very rare. And I don't have, I have a year-ish experience under my belt, but I pitch a lot of leads for others in the home too. It's extremely rare that, that first time, yeah, still, that's just way over our budget. No worries, right? Windows may not be in your foreseeable future. I'm taking it away from you, right? You might not get to replace Windows, right? My goal today though, is just to educate you, provide you more information. We're here now. If you give me the opportunity, I promise it won't be a waste of your time. I know you wouldn't waste mine, I'm not gonna waste yours. So, is it cool if we get started and I'll show you kind of what we're doing today? Right? I'm just politely letting you know, I'm not gonna waste your time, but don't waste mine. You already called me out here. Let's do this. I'm not gonna force you to do this,
Yeah.
If you do it, great. If not, I don't care. I don't care, right? And if you have that mentality, I'm just here to help provide that info. So, I don't know how to answer that because I feel like if you do that in your practice and you say it confidently and you're there, and they're like, no, I don't know, it's still a lot. Look, I get it's a lot. Don't have to do the whole thing. We have easy pay. I'm gonna show you everything we can do to make this affordable. Let's get started though. I promise I won't waste your time. And if we're not the right fit, I'll point you in the right direction. There's 100 other window companies. If you're not gonna work with us, I'll recommend one to you that may be a better fit for you. But let me show you at least why we're the most popular in the country. And if it works out, great. If not, no worries. Fair enough?
I can share with you that, throughout my career especially with Renewable Energy, I had over 50 people objecting in front, right in the front door, mid-price condition, and they said there's no way we can afford it, and they all end up buying for it. They all end up taking easy pay, they all end up doing a phase, so I feel like bringing that objection, and that's why I bring that objection
Yeah.
to Nolan, bringing that objection from them earlier just help you through the entire meeting and help them to say yes at the end. Yeah. I had this customer, and she was, sorry, I'm gonna take another second. She was a single mom with a daughter. I used to work in Austin back then, and I went to her house, and she was so sad she's not gonna be able to afford it. Cause I told her that the project's gonna cost somewhere like $25,000 to $32,000. She's like, there's no way I can do it. And when she saw that the monthly payment's gonna be like less than $300, she was so excited.
Yeah.
She was so excited to pick it up the glove and just, start the project, so.
It's a mentality, it's a confidence. It's, how many times have they said that to you and you wrote a sale? If you already work close, you can leave now.
Yeah.
And they buy, right? And you're on, you're confident, you're feeling it. Or other times of, maybe you're not sold, and you're not committed right now, and you're not a professional, and you're not prepared for that, right? And you're like, okay, cool, bye, and leave. Nobody could do anything. It's the price. The price is why they didn't buy. No, they didn't buy because you weren't ready for that objection, and you didn't say it confidently. Said, well, I can show you why, and there's no, like, hey, look, I get it, cool. Well, probably not for you then, right? Whoa, don't leave yet, right? Cool. You know what I mean? That's what you have to have is that confidence and that takeaway. So, But so many times they say that and they still buy, right? They buy because you're ready for that. I'm gonna transition us now. Would we like to see one example and give feedback for the whole group on this topic? Do we feel like we got this topic down? Do we wanna go to the next step? Or do we wanna dedicate 20 more minutes to this? And I'm asking, do you wanna see Bree do it, or do we wanna jump into inspection?
Oh, absolutely.
We got one, let's be real though. Would it be helpful? Do we feel like we need to see it one more time, or do we feel good? This is for you, so I'm gonna let y'all answer. David, Daisy, what do you think? You wanna see it?
I'll go one more time.
I'm gonna call on Bree to go,
Oh.
unless you really want to.
Free to go.
I think I feel good about absorbing it, got my notes down. I'm curious to see what is going on in the next section, for me.
We're running out of time if we're being real, right? So if you guys are cool to transition, then I'll let Bree do the next one. Then we'll go that route, okay? So